Welcome to our Cynefin bite-sized training on the 5 elements of well-being. I'll be focusing on safety, one of the 5 elements of well-being we heard from pupils, staff, parents and carers. We have 4 other pre-recorded sessions on the other 4 elements of well-being, including love and care, belonging, agency and efficacy. So if you haven't already, we'd love you to check out those sessions as well. And just to add that we'd also be very happy to come and offer more in-depth training sessions bespoke to your school if you think that'll be helpful. Or we can come and meet you or your senior leaders to think about safety in your school community. Before we dive into the main content, I'd like to take a moment to remind you about what it is that we do at Cynefin, and more importantly, what are the values that underpin our work. These values are the foundation of everything we do. They help shape our mission and define how we approach working alongside school communities and parents with empathy and purpose. First, we have early intervention and prevention. This value highlights the importance of addressing issues proactively. By stepping in early, we can support sustainable growth and help prevent challenges from escalating. The goal is to create sustainable, nurturing environments that benefit everyone involved. The next is context. We recognise that every school is unique with its own strengths, challenges and culture, and that's why we tailor our support to each school's specific needs. It ensures that our approach is inclusive and respectful, meeting the realities of children's education where they are. And then there's inclusion, equity and voice. This value reflects our unwavering commitment to fairness and open communication. We believe that every individual within a school community deserves equal opportunities and a voice in shaping their environment. It's about fostering collaboration and shared ownership. These are key to building a positive and inclusive culture. Together, these values, early intervention and prevention, context and inclusion, equity and voice, guide us in enhancing well-being and educational outcomes. They keep us focused on what matters most, which is supporting school communities and parents in ways that truly make a difference. So what does this all mean? Well, we've crafted our offer to meet the varied needs of school communities through targeted support and professional development. For example, we provide professional learning and development through bite-sized training sessions like this, and in-depth training on wellbeing components. For schools with specific needs, we offer bespoke support, including a whole school approach and the use of the spiral of inquiry to drive improvement and address priorities. We're offering reflective practice supervision sessions, which is central to our work. We also facilitate individual or group sessions that celebrate, support and strengthen professional practice and wellbeing within school communities. And we're exploring additional areas such as head teacher supervision, pilot projects designed to build a sense of belonging in school communities, and we're developing our digital wellbeing resources and parent webinars to extend our support to families, recognising the essential role that parents play in the wellbeing journey. We hope our offer allows us to work constructively with you and with school leaders and educators to ensure that our support is both research informed and aligned with what each school community's unique needs are. So if you've got any projects you'd like us to be involved in, or you'd like to speak to us, please do reach out. Thanks.
In Gwent, we've been on a journey to develop a whole school approach for emotional health and well-being. And we started off by asking ourselves the question, what should this look like? How should it be? And we quickly thought, we need to go out and talk to children and young people, to teachers, to staff, to the school community, to learn from them. What does it look like? How should it be? And they told us. They told us all about the things that happen in their school communities, which help them to feel safe and to flourish and to thrive. And what we really wanted to do was bring this information, bring these voices bring these children's views and their thoughts to the whole of the community so that everybody could have the opportunity to learn from these voices and to think about how they may be able to apply these principles, these ideas to their own school community. For every child, for all school communities to have this opportunity to go to a school where people's emotional health and well-being is supported.
Wellbeing isn't the absence of ups and downs in life. We would expect those entirely, if you've got good well-being, to still be present. We all have ups and downs. Instead, what well-being is having all of the opportunities that we need to thrive in a context. So things like good, positive, supportive relationships, things like opportunities for play and enjoyment, opportunities to feel like you belong to a community, to an organisation. Those are the things which also provide the protection when things do get tough. So good well-being is about having all of those things at your disposal. That means at times when things are more difficult, you can rely on the fact that you are having these experiences in your life that help you through. So essentially well-being is for everybody at all times, whether times are good or whether times are more tricky.
I think it's a difficult concept for us to think about. Historically, we've thought about mental health difficulties and well-being as being something that therefore is universally positive, that well-being is around being okay. But actually, when we think about well-being, we want to think about the ebb and flow of emotions. We want to think about the ups and downs of life, the challenges, the moments of real joy and strength. And positive well-being, therefore, is about being able to lean into those experiences in a way that still enables you to move forward.
Our well-being is about what makes us comfortable, makes us happy, and enables us to feel safe, particularly within a school environment if we're framing it within that context. It's about our positive emotional state, as well as appreciating that we have our ups and downs as we go through life. So within a school context, we're talking about well-being as being a school being a place where it can allow for all those emotional states to exist and provide a safe place for children to be able to and staff to be able to kind of express those emotional needs, and for the schools to actually be able to contain them and to be able to meet them and provide support for them.
I feel safe at school because all my friends care about me and all my teachers care about me, and that really makes me happy.
Wellbeing means to me that I have somewhere safe and I can be in school without having to be in trouble. Even though I don't feel safe in school, I have people I can go to, so it's somewhere I'm able to be free with myself and be who I want to be.
Wellbeing is when we feel happy or safe, and when we feel good about ourselves, or when we feel happy and not upset or scared about anything.
For me, safety is particularly important in terms of well-being, as it's probably the most overarching of all the themes that we're talking about. Because if you don't feel safe within your school environment, you're not going to want to go there. So therefore, how can any of your other needs be met if you're not actually attending school in the first place? So we need to ensure that our schools are safe environments in terms of their physical infrastructure, in terms of being able to provide a kind, caring, bright, nurturing environment that children feel safe within and want to go to. But also it's about emotional safety as well. So it's about that opportunity to be able to actually explore your emotions within an environment where you know that whether they're positive emotions or negative emotions, that those people within your school community appreciate that and will be able to respond accordingly and appropriately to be able to meet those needs.
I have never doubted that when Molly comes into school that there is somebody that she can talk to. I always know that, and it might not be her teacher, it might be another member of staff, but I think the children are so expressive with their feelings that obviously that brings their well-being to a level, and they know that they can always go to somebody. There is always an adult or even maybe just a friend that they can actually turn to and let them know how they're feeling.
With the staff here, as a parent here, and they make us feel, it's like being confident. It's not, you don't feel uneasy, they're very approachable. Having children here, as a parent, you want to be comfortable in this school to ask any questions. I feel this Blaenau as a school makes parents very comfortable. You can ask questions, you don't feel uneasy.
Although it's one of the biggest schools in Wales, or I believe it's one of the biggest school, everybody knows each other. Everybody, they make the teachers and the staff, even the admin staff, go out of their way. I can't say, honestly, and I can't say a bad thing about this school. It's been absolutely fantastic. I think it's one of the best schools I've ever, had the pleasure of having any of my children in.
When we think about safety within school communities, we're thinking about emotional safety, relational safety and physical safety. So emotional safety is about being in a context where you feel you can show and communicate your emotions to others, where you feel that no emotion needs to be concealed or hidden. Relational safety is about feeling secure in the relationships that you're having, in knowing that there are adults and peers that you can go to discuss positives and challenges of everyday life. And physical safety is about feeling held within that, knowing that you're safe in that space, that no harm will come to you. And what we've learned through the stories is that these things interact in a really important way, that if any of those components is missing, it can have a massive impact on emotional well-being. But when they're all met, when they interplay with one another effectively, the impact can be enormous on children's well-being as well as on staff and teachers' well-being within school communities.
I have made new friends. I can talk to anyone, like the teachers, pastoral, or my friendship group. So like if I'm feeling down, I can just talk to them like a lot and they wouldn't like really spill or anything. Like it just means a lot to me.
My old history teacher used to let me go and speak to him, and like if I was having a bad day, I could just talk to him and he'd like understand, and he'd let me like sit in his room for like an hour or so and just like sit there and not do anything to chill out. And that was nice because like I felt like I could just go there anytime. So it was like not a safe space, but like somewhere I could just relax.
I had an argument with a boy and I didn't really want to go to school. I just wanted to really stay home and cuddle up with my dog. But then when I got to school, my friends and teachers really like comforted me, and they like made me really happy about myself, and they were just giving me compliments and just making me feel really positive.
Physical safety often experienced in things that schools actually do really well. So all the structures, all the routines, all the rituals that school communities have actually serve a real purpose in helping the members of that community to feel physically safe in the environment. Of course, the other part of that, and again revisiting this idea of relationships, is this that school communities are very much about learning about ourselves and about our emotions and our social worlds. And so there's a really critical part of emotional safety, that I can get things wrong in a relationship, but I need to know that that's going to be okay, and that I can still kind of experience a positive relationship with that person, even though I'm likely to make mistakes as I go.
Having my best friend around me in school is the best, because obviously I feel more safe and content when I'm around her, and if there's a day where she's not in, I don't feel comfortable enough to do my work, so I'll just corner myself off. But when she's with me, I'm like more energetic and I get more things done.
You need to have a bond. The bond's very important, and having trust in people is very important for your mental health and your well-being and your stability and everything.
I'm sure many of you will recognise Maslow's hierarchy of needs. When we filmed in the schools a few years ago, we asked school communities what helped them to thrive. The responses, love, safety, belonging, efficacy, and agency, fit well into Maslow's model. Once basic survival needs are met, safety is the foundation that supports all other needs, including belonging, love and care, and agency. In school communities, safety comes in three main forms. Physical safety, which is being free from harm or danger, whether from violence, bullying, risk of disease, or environmental hazards. It's the most common understanding of safety. Emotional safety is about feeling secure to express emotions without fear or judgment or ridicule. It is also supported by predictable structures and routines that help individuals to seek help when needed. Relational safety focuses on trust and respect in relationships, allowing people to take social risks, like sharing ideas or opinions, knowing that they're going to be supported. It's about being vulnerable with others, knowing mistakes won't lead to harsh judgment or punishment. Edmondson in 2002 described psychological safety as the belief that your environment is safe for interpersonal risk-taking. As Charlotte said in the film, relational safety is feeling secure in the relationships within the school where adults and peers are there to discuss both the positives and the challenges of life. These types of safety are all interlinked and they're essential to well-being. In the film, one girl shared how she could confide in her friends, knowing that they wouldn't spill her secrets. This is an example of relational safety, where trust allows her to be vulnerable, and emotional safety, where she's protected from emotional harm because her friends are trustworthy. Another girl described a safe space with her teacher, a trusted environment where she could retreat to when struggling. This demonstrates both relational and emotional safety at work. These elements support each other, enhancing emotional well-being overall. Safety isn't just for students. Teachers who feel psychologically safe are more likely to be innovative, take instructional risks, create emotionally safe spaces for their students, and be more available emotionally for their students. In a psychologically safe environment, they can also collaborate more effectively, ask for help when needed, and admit to mistakes without fear of retribution. One of the most practical ways to provide safety in schools is through familiarity, predictability, and structure. A familiar environment helps to create safety, where it's okay to make mistakes and to feel motivated to try. This requires balancing emotional openness with boundaries that keep everyone secure. Predictability, knowing what's coming next, establishes trust. Clear explanations to students minimize surprises, and routines also help the staff and the parents to feel secure. Traditional structures like timetables, bells, rules, familiar faces, and even uniforms all contribute to this sense of safety. They provide a predictable environment where boundaries help students to feel more in control, boosting their confidence. Students, staff, and families all benefit from routines and structure, which create stability and therefore increase safety for everyone. Schools can act as safe havens for vulnerable children, particularly those who haven't experienced sensitive, caring environments. As Louise Bomber notes, these children are more likely to have attachment difficulties and need a safe base in the school. A safe base is where someone can be themselves without fear of hurt or shame, knowing that their feelings matter. In this context, a safe base is often provided by a key adult, such as a teacher, offering good enough, sensitive care which helps children to explore and to develop. Safe bases are also important for staff and parents, creating secure spaces for everyone in the school community. Safe bases can be built through relationships, consistent adults who are present, check in emotionally, listen, and provide opportunities for courageous conversations. It's critical to make it safe for both staff and students if we're going to expect them to take risks and occasionally make mistakes. The environment also can establish a sense of a safe base. We saw examples of safe spaces during our visits to Gwent schools, like quiet corners in classrooms and friendship benches. These spaces aren't just for students. Staff rooms and maybe areas for parents and carers also need attention. Sources of support can help to establish a safe base too. Clear, accessible support, whether it's a named staff member, support groups, helplines. These all help to normalise issues and build confidence in seeking help. Signposting this information in visible and accessible ways through school websites, posters or assemblies is key. We've discussed physical, emotional and relational safety, as well as safe bases and the role of familiarity, predictability and structure in schools. Now let's think about how we can improve safety for everyone in our school community. It's essential to recognise that one size doesn't fit all. Each person's sense of safety will vary depending on their life experiences. Inclusivity is key, especially for those with additional learning needs or those who come from different backgrounds. We need to ask the right questions. What are they finding difficult? What might help? What's working and what isn't? It's easy to focus on students, but it's equally important to consider the safety of parents who bring their own school experiences with them to school, as well as that of our teachers. As promised, this is just a bite size of our broader training offer, but thank you for joining the Cynefin training on our elements of wellbeing, this one focusing on safety. I hope that the session has provided valuable insights into creating the safe in school communities for everyone. If you wouldn't mind, please just take 2 minutes to scan our QR code. Your voice matters and it helps us to provide content to meet the needs of your school community. That's all from me. Goodbye.